Howdy, guys. No one made this joke today, so I tried to do it, but okay. No one's talking tech. No, I was. Yeah, okay. Never mind. So, hi guys. My name is Barbara Ondrisek, and today I'm going to give a talk about my experience developing one of the first chatbots on Facebook Messenger, but definitely the first one in Austria on Facebook Messenger and Skype. About me, I made my PhD at the University of Technology in Vienna, and I've been working as a freelancer and consultant for more than 15 years for different big companies, mostly as a backend developer on web projects, but I also like mobile development a lot. So that's my background. I have a strong backend background, and the last couple of years I was working as a senior developer with the disposedness to full stack and mobile. I also love to play around with other technologies, lately with Ionic or AngularJS, especially in my last project with George for the Erste Group, that is the largest bank in Austria. And I was also working as a freelancer and consultant for many years, but I always was lacking this one super idea to found my own startup. And as Facebook announced on their F8 conference, mid of April, to open their Facebook Messenger platform to bots, I was eager to try their API. But with which projects? Like a hipster. Over time, I started a couple of blogs, such as Electrobabe, which is also my screen name on the internet. But 3 years ago, I made a spin-off of Electrobabe that evolved, and then I created a food blog called Chef Babe. And since I always loved mobile development, I soon created a native Android app, followed by another and another. And after a couple of tries, Like a Hipster was born. Like a Hipster, the Like a Hipster app helps you discover the best and hippest places in your vicinity based on your geolocation. Like a Hipster was originally a fun project, a pet project, like you pet it, which I started with my cat and a friend, and it turned out to become more popular than we expected. We started as an Android app, but due to severe group pressure, and the success of the Android app, we had to develop an iOS version 2. My desire was always to make Like a Hipster big, but it kind of didn't work out. We got some success, but we kind of stuck in the user numbers. And I think my experience was that no one's using apps anymore, let alone to pay for apps or in-apps. Then Facebook announced end of March, and Microsoft announced end of March in their Build conference the bot support for Skype. No one took really notice of that, but 2 weeks later, Facebook announced on their F8 conference that they have finally opened their Messenger API for bots, and the first bot started to be approved by Facebook. Only a few days later, Poncho, hi Poncho, the weather bot raised 2 million of funding, and after that, I started also to create my own bot, since it kind of looked like an opportunity. Further, Google presented on the Google I/O mid of May, a little bit later, another innovative chat platform, Allo, that should also support bots. And further on the announcement, also Google announced Cloud Natural Language API as a natural language processing and machine learning platform. And also IBM announced their NLP framework, Watson, and so all the big players are in the field and pushing their topic. Just a couple of days ago, also, Google announced that they bought API AI. But are chatbots really such a new thing? Okay, Facebook and Google and so on, they announced, but yeah, Google already announced also a lot of things like Google Glass, and no one cared about it. Also, the first chatbots were, like, historically said, not something really new, because in the 60s, Eliza was born. That was a project of the computer scientist Weizenbaum. And he wanted to find out about natural language and how it can be used in user-computer interaction. This first bot was developed at the MIT AI lab by Weizenbaum, and this bot simulated a psychotherapist. And Eliza was also programmed to analyze the input of keywords and respond to a number of canned phrases containing therapeutical language. So, and also Eliza was built in the 60s, but also the first computers were designed in that way that the user interface had a command line question-answer response. So bots are not really a new thing. And also in the 80s, maybe some of us can remember, who are old enough, text-based computer games were a big thing, like Zork. Finally. Yeah. So, but, sorry, that was the right way. So I made a choice. I decided to leave the world as a consultant behind, and I decided, for like a hipster, to push my #1 employee. I called her as a joke, number employee, Mica, the Hipster Cat Bot, and promoted her to my head of communications as a gag. Everyone loves cats. Cats are cute and conquer the internet, and we already know a couple of cat chatbots, like Poncho and Pennycat and so on. And so it was obvious that to turn this joke into an opportunity. Now with the Facebook Messenger API and the development of chatbots, I thought it would be nice to chat with a cat. So I kept the principle of a hipster cat and created Mica, the Hipster Cat Bot, as a spin-off of like a hipster. And Mica is a cat and a bot, and she helps you to discover the best places in your city or worldwide. About my motivation, I love fancy and hip coffee shops and restaurants. I spend a lot of time hanging out in them and meeting friends or working. And I have my own favorite hipster locations in some towns. Also here in Austin, I found quite nice places that were actually confirmed of my following speaker. And so I thought it would be great fun to have a chatbot that shares my love for great coffee and food, and who can be asked for recommendations worldwide. This way, I wanted to try new. This way, wherever I want to try a new cafe in my vicinity, or I travel somewhere, I know I can ask my dear friend, my cat. And since I was also eager to try new stuff, so I tried to develop a chatbot for the Facebook Messenger infrastructure. And Mica, the Hipster Cat Bot, was born. And how does she work? That's a screencast of messenger.com. So this is the Facebook Messenger implementation. We designed her personality like this. She's a cat and a bot, and she likes funny cat pictures. And she likes milk, but does not like water. So we created a personality for her. She also likes to hang out in hip coffee shops and knows the best places worldwide. The internet loves cats, so I created Mica, the Hipster Cat Bot, as a fictional character, and my chatbot got a face. First of all, first I thought I use my cat's face itself, like the natural picture, but I made a Facebook page icon, so I thought an abstraction would be a little bit better. So, and why stay in one platform? There are so many, like Kik. We heard a lot about Kik these days. Lineup and Telegram, so I thought I implemented also on Skype. Skype, in Skype has still 300 million unique users per month, although some kind of forget it or don't notice it, but Skype is still a huge thing. Oh no! This should display a GIF of the Skype implementation that looks a little bit different. The Skype implementation they also have a list you can scroll through. They have structured messages, but they don't support animated content yet, like GIFs or videos. So I just wanted to show you the different implementations. Yeah, so I decided to implement it on Skype. About the implementation details, to implement a chatbot, most of you, I think, already tried at least to build a bot, so I don't have to tell you that much about it. My backend is hosted on AWS. I use a MySQL database for it and programmed it in an object-oriented way. And after this, I also programmed Mica. After Facebook and Skype, I also programmed it for WeChat and for Telegram. And meanwhile, I was developing the character, had some learnings, designed the personality, and especially the personality was far more important or interesting to most people than I thought at the beginning. Yeah. This is so. So we launched Mica on different types of platforms, and I got some PR for it, especially in Austria. I also got this article here, and on Business Insider. Here is actually the Mica icon also in there, and I was very proud of it, but kind of the success did not really turned out as I expected, because the user numbers were quite low, and I don't know, there were other bots in the Austrian ecosystem, like Swell started their bot that was in June, and also other bots in Austria got some PR, and yeah, Poncho got his 2 million funding or VC, and yeah, and I was a little bit worried because can I live up to those expectations, because everyone was asking me for user numbers or usage data, and I was just like, maybe skip that question because it's a little bit tricky. And also many different chatbot frameworks emerge next to WIT API, API, Watson, Microsoft Lewis, and so on, and we kind of at first, we got a lot of attention, but it kind of stood out. And then this one chatbot, Swelly, got featured on Kick and got more than 100K users in their first month, and together they have like 300K users after 3 months, and yeah, so. That was kind of tough because I was always compared to other bots in that area. Also, WeChat, I implemented Mica for WeChat, but WeChat declined me because I'm obviously not a Chinese company. And yeah, that's a little bit hard to get into their business. And also, Skype refused to review my chatbot. Those bot framework people gave me a really hard time to get reviewed there because they complained about everything, kind of everything, and we find out lots of bugs on the iOS version of Skype. So I was kind of frustrated and thought about, I don't know, maybe I should try something else. And this is also an example, like Swelly, this other very successful bot of Austria, got featured on Facebook, and yeah, they got a lot of attention through this, and also, first at the beginning, a developer joined, and then he was looking for other assignments, and I had bad usage numbers compared to other bots, And I thought maybe I should restart as a consultant or freelancer again. And then something strange happened. Because I was talking to my doctoral advisor from the university, and we decided to create research and development projects in the area of conflict between UX and AI research. And I talked to some people about it, I got a lot of press, and finally I got the cover story on the Forbes magazine for some strange reason. And this research project, I called it ELIZA because it's the basis of user experience and AI research, or machine learning and natural language processing research. But it turned out to be great because finally I got approved of Skype, and I got featured in Skype in their Microsoft Bot Store. And as you see, I'm still there. On the first page, you see it. I got a lot of attention for this. I also get a lot of the cohort analysis also shows that the people come back. They don't use Mica, the Hipster Cat Bot, every day, what was kind of strange at the beginning, but they use it like every week. So they come back, and that's a really good thing. Also, agency project rushed in, and huge conferences like the CHATBOT here in Austin, also the Ars Electronica, which is an artist conference in Linz, and also a conference in London, and so on, invited me. And I also got funding from, we actually won a prize with this chatbot in Austria. And as you see, the usage numbers kind of turned out to be quite nice, as you might see as well. There is a spike after Skype released me or featured me on their page. So lessons learned. To every one of you who has a little bit doubt about creating a chatbot, my advice is just do it. And it's not so complicated to implement a basic chatbot. The APIs are still beta, most of them. They change a lot. Today, my API was broken because Facebook was just adding a new field. So yeah, I had to fix that today. And so Skype was really a tough ride, especially the iOS version. So I was in contact with the Skype developers who implement the iOS version of Skype. Yeah, I'm still in contact with them because they have to fix a few bugs. And one other learning is, although bot functionality is still limited, user experience is extremely important. And also, the speaker after me will talk about that. And so I'm also very proud that a UX designer joined my team. And you should, when you develop a bot, you should also think about that. What also happened is, after the first meetups, we in Vienna found out that it's finally, maybe the first time ever, that Vienna had an advantage in contrast to all the other countries in Europe or cities in Europe. And because we've been evolving faster than, for example, Berlin. And so the organizers of the first bot meetups came together, and other influential guys and also me found the Botspot Vienna. And for a happy end of this story is I am super happy how my bot turned out, and I also founded the CHATBOT agency, which is the first agency that has the first agency that only concerned chatbots, and yeah, and we kind of happily lived ever after. Thank you.
Give Barbara a hand. Thank you very much.